some other things. Well, knowing which weapons kill which bosses is that's a huge thing.
Commando Man.
These runs.
They're really running out of names.
Oh, just wait. There's worse names yet. Commando Man, I think, is actually pretty good from what else they've put in this game. So this Commando Man's level is actually one of my favorite levels to run in any Mega Man game as well. Like, this is just a fantastic level to run. You'll see why here in a second. So here's the great part. So there's the sand that blows and it covers the screen, but if you stay right in front of it, it pushes you forward and makes you go faster.
Nice.
So that's just fantastic. That's a lot of fun.
It's got to be enjoyable when you're doing a speed run.
Yeah. So here's actually one point where these two runs deviate. So one run I used the blade to go up the wall, and the other run I didn't. It was actually because I was watching the first run and do it without the blade. I'm like, that's dumb. I should just use the blade to go up the wall. And
It didn't make a big difference.
no, it didn't, but it's just easier. Here comes another little trick in this level. So I've got Rush Jet now because I beat 4 bosses. And just fly Rush Jet, and you can get right over the sand.
I love the way you completely ignore the free man.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
got to be a hard urge to.
Don't need it for what I'm doing.
Well, you don't need free man, period.
Here's some more sand pushing me, which is some more fun. And all the jumps. Just, oh, I hate that,
Almost synced it.
guys. Yeah, no, look at the neck.
Nice. They're almost exactly synced.
Yeah, I almost considered like having my laptop next to the TV while I play the game to have like, you know, this is what I'm trying to beat while I'm doing the second
That's
run.
fair. That's fair.
I've thought about it, but I decided against it. I think it'd just be too distracting.
Probably. And besides, you played all these levels enough that you know where you made a mistake or what you did here and there.
Yeah, typically.
So how long did it take you practicing this game, do you think, to get to the point where you could do a speedrun like this and not lose a life? And
I don't know, a couple months probably. Playing a few times a week on average. So the thing is, like, when I first started out doing the runs, I wasn't doing it all that often because I wasn't very good. It's less enjoyable when I'm dying all the time.
Of course.
But then when I got better and I'm dying much less, then I start playing it more because I'm having more fun. So.
When you get to the point where you can do it without dying, I think in this game especially, where there's no, you just run at the same pace all the time. It's not like some games where you can turbo run or that kind of thing. It probably once you don't die, then you're just trimming seconds here.
Exactly. And once it gets to that point, like these two runs, I could certainly trim more seconds, but I'm pretty much satisfied with these runs, and that's why I'm showing these two runs here because, like, I don't care to minimize my time any more than what
So
I've done here.
if a world-class player was trying to beat this and set up the best time they could, how much do you think they could maybe beat it by? How many minutes? Like a couple, 3? I'm not seeing a ton of errors that are obviously taking up a lot of time.
Yeah, maybe a couple minutes probably.
Two full minutes?
2 full minutes probably at least, yeah.
I guess that's an eternity in this kind of.
Here's this TriCast. I think I take care of TriCast. I go the faster way, but that's the way I do it. So Blade Man here, so this level I used to actually try to play without Rush Jet, and that was just horrible. I used to play this 4th in the boss order before I got Rush Jet, and that was just really dumb, because this level pretty much demands Rush Jet to try to play quickly. I was doing weird things like going by like beat from the store and like automatic and like intentionally falling into pits and stuff. If you play Mega Man 10, maybe you know what I'm talking about, but you can buy this item that saves you when you fall into a pit, so I'd actually intentionally fall into a pit, but like, oh, it was just so dumb. And when you're trying to minimize real time, it takes time to like go into the item and go to the shop, buy the item and stuff. So, and this is the part where you absolutely need Rush Jet. Like, you can't jump those gaps without it. You have to jump on that stupid thing, and it's just. So now, like, Blade Man used to be like my worst level before when I was not trying to use Rush Jet, but now it's probably one of the most straightforward levels using it.
So what is the pattern here? He just goes side up, side up?
Yeah, he jumps on the walls. You can sort of control where he goes by your movements. So if you're facing one way or moving one way, he'll typically jump the other way, I think, or depending where you are on the screen. So he follows patterns and you can sort of control where he goes a little bit.
And do you think the patterns are very similar to the old Mega Man games?
Oh yeah. I think they intentionally did that.
And the way you can control them, because I know the AI in the old games was obviously pretty basic.
So like in Mega Man 2, yeah, you can like jump to like control like whether like those big robot guys with the other guys and then they shoot at you. You can control whether they jump or not by jumping yourself. and stuff
Right.
like that.
I think almost all classic games are like that because most enemies just simply try to mimic what you're following.
This is Strike Man. I think that's a pretty cool name. I've never seen a sports related related robot in a Mega Man game, so I thought Strike Man was pretty cool. So it's a whole baseball themed level. It's neat. I guess sports in general.
Got behind by about half a second there on the right.
Yeah, it's a mistake.
You're doing the little things though.
Yeah.
All over the place.
So this guy, I don't know if there's a faster way to beat him. On the speed runs that I've seen online, they use the rebound gun, but rebound gun is the gun you get after you beat this level, so you obviously you can't do that in a full speed run of the game. So I use the blade gun there.
Yeah, that seems like cheating. I mean, if you have to play the level before you can speedrun the level.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
So this, I think one of these runs actually do this screen very, very well, like better than any other. I think it was on the left there, yeah.
Yeah, the left
That's-
one looks very
that's-
nice.
that's-
That was pretty optimal. I couldn't see
Yeah.
any problem with that one.
I think that was my best effort on that part I've ever done. This guy again, that's not that hard.
Pretty impressed by the ability to take hits here and there and not really lose much time. It's not something I expected, having not watched any Mega Man speedruns.
Yeah.
And I mean, often you're doing it on purpose.
So here I'm using the nitro gun again. To speed my way up the wall. This guy always pisses me off. I hate that one guy. He just slows my time down. I have to stop and kill him and then jump over him. I'm just such a klutz when it comes to that guy. I just decided that was the best way to deal with it. Actually accidentally picked up an energy there from Rush Jet. I didn't mean to. I meant to switch weapons, but I couldn't do it fast enough. Which also slowed me down a second, but whatever. So here's Strike Man. You can actually beat him before he actually bounces around here, but I failed to do it on both left side and right side.
But you lost maybe a second and a
Yeah.
half there.
We'll see later that you can actually beat him before he even bounces around, which saves a couple seconds.
I think those are a little tiny. I mean, you said all the time handling the bosses, but I think, judging from the way you've been dealing with the bosses, that you can't optimize them much more. I mean, if you were going to optimize this run, it would be little tiny.
Yeah,
Just throughout levels.
and sometimes it's random luck. Like I think there for Strike
Yeah.
Man, for instance, you have to have him jump really high as he'll jump in the air in order to beat him without him bouncing around. If he doesn't jump at all, you just don't have enough time to kill him.
That's got to be pretty frustrating.
At least not without pause switches, that's true.
Dealing with the random luck element in these.
So here's a great boss name, Sheep Man. Like, what were they thinking?
Nice.
Like, they can't be more creative
Well,
than
they've
Sheep
got
Man,
to
really?
have been out of ideas. I was impressed if, Mega Man 4 came around, they were still coming up with reasonable names.
I think some of them were bad in Mega Man 4 as well, but I can't remember what they were. Ring Man, I think was one of them.
Better than Sheep.
Yeah, Sheep Man was pretty bad. So Sheep Man's stage isn't too bad. It tended to give me some troubles early on, but I think I have it under control now. So there I use Rush Jet to get over the gap. I've seen it done a little bit faster there on the screen, but I play it more cautiously than I've seen other runs. So this guy coming up here, this light bulb guy, comes up here. This guy used to actually be a bit of a pain, but then I watched Run and saw that you could do this and this, and that made that pretty easy.
So it seems to me this game has an awful lot of depth in terms of speedruns. I mean,
Oh yeah.
if you look at, you often mention that you've seen little bits done faster, but obviously doing a whole speedrun, I mean, you're going to have some errors like that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it's just a matter of how big the errors are.
Well, for me at least, there's always going to be errors. Like there's no way I'm going to be able to perfect
But
it.
minor half-second errors
my
don't.
skill.
A few of those don't add up too much.
I've seen some runs of some older games like Mega Man 2, which are pretty much done like automatically. I can't tell. Some of them look obviously tool assisted, but
Yes.
others that I've seen.
That's what I was just going to say. Is that it's nice to have a site like Twin Galaxies where there are some rules involved, and that way you can't just like show them a video without actually verifying you're not using some rules.
I do some fancy stuff here on this screen. I drop Rush Jet to make myself a platform so I don't hit the spikes, and then I jump over.
Seems a little smoother on the left.
Yeah.
They're almost the same. I think the right was behind anyway.
Yeah, it was a little bit behind. Alright, so here's Sheep Man. Yeah. His weapon is also the worst weapon ever. That's why I'm doing it last.
That looks pretty optimal on the left there.
I missed the shot there. Oh, and I got lucky there because it rebounded perfectly.
And that was almost, I couldn't, I mean, you certainly hit him with every shot.
Yeah. All right, so we're roughly about halfway through the run now. So that was the first 8 bosses. So now we're on to the Wily stages. So the first Wily stage is probably one of my favorite levels. Not just for speedrunning, but favorite level in general in all the Mega Man games I've played. Like it's a fantastic level. So yeah, here's the stupid Sheep Man weapon, Thunderwall. Like it's so bad. I think I use it all like once in the game. It's almost like Top Spin in Mega Man 3. Like Top Spin is just such a bad weapon in Mega Man 3 as well. And Thunderwall it's almost like they intentionally made this bad weapon just to like, you know, go back to Mega Man 3, like, here you go, here's a crappy weapon that you'll never use. It's crap. Yeah. So yeah, here's Dr. Wily Stage 1. So this is probably my favorite level. Like, the music's awesome, the level design's awesome. You fight, like, one boss from each of the previous 9 Mega Man games. Or not exactly the boss, but these, like, little robots that have the same weapons as the bosses. So the first